live video to give everybody an update on where we are with the studio. So I know it's been a little bit since I've been able to do videos, but between all the gigs that I'm DJing and having to set all this up, it's been a little tough. But I'm gonna start getting consistent YouTube videos going again, consistent content starting next week. So we'll be back on that. But where I'm at with the studio is I got everything, wired in, everything patched in, all the gear set up, all of it plugged in, got everything hooked up to the patch bay. Everything's there. Visually, it probably looks like, okay, well, that's not much, but setting up a patch bay and doing all the wiring and stuff, it takes time. Anyways, this is quite the significant downgrade for a studio that since I've been used to like the last 7 or 8 years, because I've lived in houses the last couple 7, 8 years, so I've been able to turn big rooms into a studio. And a lot of y'all might know that temporarily right now for the next 3 to 6 months, I'm in an apartment, and I haven't been in an apartment since like 2016, 2017. So I'm getting used to it. And because I'm in an apartment, there's only so much that I can do. So what I've learned with this space is that because I'm in an apartment and it's like, we're on top of each other, the walls are paper thin, I got neighbors. I accepted that I cannot use this for a mixing and mastering studio. I just can't get away with that. So because of that, I'm not bothering to treat the room, especially if I'm only here for 3 to 6 months. I really don't want to put a bunch of holes in the wall just to have to go and patch all that up again. So it's kind of crazy that I have all this professional equipment inside of a room that's not really a studio. So as I was looking at the room, realizing that I'm only here for the next 3 to 6 months, and I was like, it's an apartment. There's not much I can do. I can't really mix and master anyways. What can I do with this? Well, decided just to make the room what it is. And so there's two things that I'm using this room for. One is content, to create new YouTube videos, create more educational videos. I can get away with a content studio in here. So all of this fancy gear that I have and that I know how to use and works perfectly fine with no issues, it's actually going to be more for display purposes for my content, just to, I don't know, give me credibility that I know what the hell I'm talking about, I guess, because I got fancy gear. So that's why I put it in here. Even though I cannot really mix and master in this room like I would like to, it's more just for props and show. Even though it all works, it's just there to give the visual that I'm still in a studio. But the other thing that I realized that I can get away with in this apartment is I can still get away with tracking sessions. So what I decided to do, again, just make the room what it is. Don't try to make it any more than what the room already is. It's in an apartment. I'm only here for 3 to 6 months. I only have so many options. So it's a content studio and I can record. But because I can record, but I can't really mix and master, I didn't really treat the room like I normally would. This actually gave me a lot of advantages that, like I said, right now, I hate to say it because they're incredible speakers and I love them. But like the focals, they're more here just for stage props right now for the fact that I'm trying to give the studio aesthetic while I'm on there. But the advantage that this does give me is that nothing in this room needs to be strategically placed. I don't even power these on. When I'm listening to music or something, or when I'm in here with an artist, we just use the mix cues because those are much better. Those are much more likely to not have the cops get called on me. These bad boys definitely will get the cops called on me. So, but the advantage, like I said, of me just using this as a content studio and tracking studio is I'm able to kind of just put things wherever because none of it matters acoustically, none of it matters sonically. It's all just there. It's just here staged for props and for looks. So it did give me the advantage that things don't need to be centered. Things can just be kind of be put wherever. But like I was saying over here, what I am doing is I am doing recording sessions over here. So what I did to make this work is I have an acoustic curtain that I bought a long time ago. The advantage of doing this for so long in so many different locations is that I have so many different options and so many things that I've bought over the years that I have a I have a lot of things at my disposal to be able to use. So what I did here was I put up a banner stand here with this acoustic curtain that I bought a long time ago. And so when I want to do recording sessions with an artist, all I do is I just put them in this corner here. And so what I did in this corner was I hung up some packing blankets with some T-pins so I'm not messing up the wall or the drywall too much for when I move out in a couple months. And then I just put my panels here. My this one's a rock wool panel. Um, like I just put these up right here to absorb some sound. I have the packing blankets more to just reduce reflections. We got some hung some as much as I hate foam, foam does at least reduce reflections. So I have some foam up on the ceiling there with some T-pins so I didn't do too much damage. This right here is an acoustic panel that I built a long time ago. If you've been following me for a long time, you would have seen the videos and the whole process of how I made that. But this is just a big old acoustic block right here. Um, it's uh, it's 12 inches of just straight rock wool insulation here. So I do have quite a bit of absorption here. So this corner right here lets me get away with being able to do recording sessions. So what's cool then about this banner stand here is that when I'm not using it, I literally can just pull this back and get it out of the way, right? And then when it's time to actually do a recording session, what I do is I just kind of move this banner stand like this. And what we've been doing is just having the artists kind of hang out over here in this corner. I know it's not the exact professional remedy, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. And then we just have them record right over here. I threw up some tapestry to at least give it an aesthetic because, again, I'm not trying to make the room more than what it already is. It's like I said, right now, I'm stuck in an apartment. I have not been stuck in an apartment for quite a long time, but I do know how easy it is to get the cops called on you. So when I'm looking at this, it's like, well, why try to make this into looking like a studio? Because it cannot be a studio. It's like, why not do that thing that like Kanye and Jay-Z and Beyonce do when they go and they rent out really fancy, expensive hotels and turn those into um, mini recording studios? Well, what do they do in there when they do that? They normally just hang up like stands. I've seen it to where when I see Jay-Z and Kanye and those like hotel studio sessions, a lot of times it's just either packing blankets or acoustic curtains set up, and it's like it's just a whole vibe, and you can tell that it's not a studio, but you can also tell that it's in like a very artistic setting. So again, because I'm stuck in this apartment for a couple months and there's only so much I can do, why make the room more than what it has to be? Just turn it into like a whole aesthetic, artsy kind of looking thing, but it still works for recording because I have the reflections, I have the absorption just kind of ready to go there. And like I said, this acoustic curtain on this banner stand gives me the flexibility to set up a little mini vocal booth if I want. And then when it's time to just get it out of the way, just move it out of there. I also feel like, too, I can probably start using this too as like, I'm thinking I might hang up on this backside. I might hang up like either a green screen or a white screen just because I do so much YouTube content in here that I might as well get some use out of it that way with that banner stand, as far as like a content screen, might as well use it for dual purposes. So that's where we're at right now with this quote unquote studio. It's really, like I said, it's a content room, and then really just like a tracking booth for me to be able to at least cut scratch vocals and demos and write songs with people. That's kind of what it's more for. I did say in the last live video that as I was setting things up, that I was gonna get a video out of how to set up a patch bay. I did, in fact, shoot that video. That video, I shot the whole thing to show you how to set up a patch bay from start to finish. And in that video, what I did was I used the Apollo X6, and then the VCA bus compressor, and that's what I use to show you how to use a patch bay. And so, like I said, the good news is I did indeed shoot that video. That video, it was captured, but I'm gonna be honest, I have not had time to edit it yet. So the video isn't quite ready to be edited because it took a while to set all of this stuff up. Plus, I've been DJing for the Braves and all the pool parties inside of the Braves Stadium nonstop since I got back to Atlanta. But that Patch Bay video should be dropping next week, the one that I promised y'all in the last live. And then I got some more live videos coming up too, some more content coming up, some more tutorials. But, like I said, this is my first time in maybe 7 or 8 years since I've been in an apartment. I've been in houses, been running my studios, and there the last several years. So I've been able to get away with a lot. So because I haven't had much recent experience with running a studio out of an apartment, if y'all have any suggestions in the comment section of what you've done to make your studio situation work in apartment complexes, what things that you've been able to get away with, what extra steps have you gone to be less annoying to the neighbors, what things have you done to not get the cops called on you for working on music. Like I said, it's been a long time. I purposely stopped renting apartments because my career kept getting more and more serious, and I kept getting more and more opportunities that I just was not in a situation where I could accept someone knocking on my door threatening to call the cops when I'm working on a fucking Rick Ross record. Like, I don't know, like what you're got going on in your apartment, I'm sorry, man, is probably not as important as what I'm doing right now. Sorry. But anyways, that's why I've lived in houses for the last several years. But right now, because I'm building a house from the ground up and I'm going to build a whole studio facility from the ground up, I'm temporarily living in an apartment. So, like I said, if y'all have any suggestions on what I can get away with running a studio out of an apartment, what things that I can do to be less annoying to the neighbors, anything I can do to keep in mind. If you have any suggestions on what I can do to treat the studio without having to fuck up the walls, let me know. Yeah, just let me know down in the comment sections, because not only will it help me out, but there's probably a lot of people that may watch that are also in the same situation where they're running a studio in an apartment and they're like, what can I do? How do I get them to stop calling cops on me so I can just make my music in peace? So I think it might be helpful to a lot of people if you have any suggestions. Anyways, like I said, I just want to give you all an update on where the studio's at, what's the process has been, and just want to let y'all know that starting next week, we'll be back in the fold of releasing content all the time. So until next time, y'all stay safe and enjoy your all upcoming weekend.